What is going on, Jerome's? Day one of the NFL Combine is in the books, and it's really interesting because it's positions that the Vikings certainly do need: defensive linemen, edge rushers, as well as off-ball linebackers. And we have five day one Combine freaks for the Vikings to bring it on in. Now, of course, we can't get to everyone, so I know people are going to be mad, like Dorian Williams and Trent Simpson aren't on this list, but here's five. There's so many, especially the edge class. My God. We have Isaiah Foskey on this list. It's ridiculous, man. But five players who could and should be in the wheelhouse for the Vikings. Number one, the man of the Combine, Adetomiwa Adebawore, the pride of Northwestern. 21 years young, 6'2", 280, had a 9.84 RAS, ran a 4.54 40 at 280 pounds. It's ridiculous, man. 1.61 10-yard split, which is important for Kancey. Elite in the jumps. Again, 37.5-inch vert at 280 pounds. And this year, put up 31 pressures, 9 tackles for loss, 5 sacks. Great motor, plays with great leverage, and was really unheralded on some bad Northwestern teams. And our guy Will Ragg at Sports Illustrated, Northwestern alum, was really singing the praises of Adebawore, whereas if he was at a larger school, maybe he would have gotten some more publicity. But I think that him in a multiple front, which the Vikings and Flores are going to deploy this year, whether he's rushing from the edge or a 5-tech or a 4-tech or a 3-tech or kicking inside or whatever, I think that he certainly could and should be an asset. Now, here's a tough thing about the Combine. So if a guy has just like absolutely zero college production, but he's a physical freak, it doesn't jump that far, right? Or if a guy has great college production and test sort of whatever, that doesn't completely knock him off the board. But it basically, the Combine, you have to check the minimum boxes, and if there's some standouts one way or the other, it makes you raise an eyebrow, maybe go back and take a look at the tape. But Adebawore could and should be in that fringe first-round mix. Potentially at the top of day two. Combine freak number two, Kalijah Cancey. Yes, so we covered him extensively in a standalone video earlier, but 6'1", 281, undersized, Aaron Donald, John Randall, all the comparisons. 4.6, 740 set the record for defensive tackles. 1.64 10-yard split as well is elite, and he racked up and stacked up 14 sacks over 2 years as a PITT starter. Absolutely quick, dynamite first step, and he's a guy where, hey, the Vikings are going to run some 3-4, but they're also going to run some 4-man fronts. And Cancey, as a rotational platoon guy, getting in there on passing downs does make a lot of sense, just creating havoc. And the interior pass rush that the Vikings haven't really had the last couple of seasons. Next up, yes, Nolan Smith, physical freak, absolute monster, 6'2", 238, missed the bulk of last season with a torn pec. But what's amazing is, so Nolan Smith was a senior, came back for his senior season in Athens, and after he tore his pec, he could have just been like, all right, deuces, I'm going to get ready for the draft. He hung around with his teammates, was basically working as like a coach or an advisor, and he was in full pads in the national title game too, which is amazing, as they were smoking victory cigars. So it says a lot about his character and leadership. But he absolutely destroyed the Combine, man. So even with that torn pec, 4 months out from the torn pec, it doesn't really come into play when you're around the 40 or doing the vert or the broad jump and stuff. But the fact that he easily could have just opted out of working out, but he came in and destroyed. Ran a 4.39 official 40, 1.52 10-yard split, 41.5-inch vert. All three led edge rushers, 84 pressures and 12.5 sacks in 4 seasons in Athens. He's got great leadership skills, got great intangibles, and he's going to be a guy who blows up. And he's a guy that, yes, you do see him there at 23 for the Vikings a lot in mock drafts, but I think the Combine is going to answer a lot of questions that teams had about him, and I think that he's going to be good to go. You just can't sneeze at that production, man. Next up, Jack frickin' Campbell. Jack Campbell, man. Think about all the great linebackers named Jack. Jack Ham, Jack Lambert, Jack Del Rio, Miles Jack, Jack Campbell. If you have a linebacker named Jack, you're good to go. Also, it's kind of funny is that there's a position for linebackers called Jack. But all right, so Jack Campbell is a physical freak of nature, and you think that Iowa would win more games with some of these guys. That's not Jack Campbell. That's Nolan Smith. Anyways, 6'5", 249, 2022 Buckets Award winner for best linebacker in the country, unanimous All-American, and remember, he's doing this at 249 pounds. 4.65 40, 1.59 10-yard split, elite agility and explosiveness, and his numbers stacked up favorably to TJ. But remember, he's doing all this at 249 pounds. It's ridiculous. And at Iowa, he played a combination of off-ball as well as edge rusher, 265 tackles over 2 seasons in Iowa City, 2 sacks, 4 interceptions, 7 passes broken up, 91.7 PFF grade in 2022. And I think that his role could be really unique at the NFL level, where could he be used more as a pass rusher versus an off-ball linebacker, even though he's extremely solid in coverage? But given his size, given his speed and agility and quickness, do teams use him like a Micah Parsons? Like, does he rush more in the NFL? And for Flores, where they put a lot of emphasis on off-ball linebackers being able to rush the passer, you look at Kyle Van Noy with his time with the Patriots with Flores. You look at Jerome Baker, true Jerome, during the Dolphins seasons, and could Jack Campbell be that dude? Like, frankly, I mean, if the Vikings just stick and pick and took Campbell at 23, I would not be upset. Absolutely not. Then lastly, so this guy sort of really popped up on radar. Owen Pappoe out of Auburn, 6 foot 225. And lastly, day one combine freak number 5. Again, we could have so many of these. Like, we didn't even touch on Trenton Simpson and whatnot. But Owen Pappoe coming out of Auburn, 6 foot 225, ran a 4.39 40, the fastest amongst all off-ball linebackers, 1.56 10-yard split, great in the explosive drills as well. And during his time on the Plains, 91 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 3 passes broken up in 2022. A little bit unheralded, but he's a guy that fitting into specific schemes, especially one where they value linebackers that have range and coverage skills and speed and quickness. That's exactly what Pappoe is going to be. Now, could you say that he a little bit too similar to Brian Asamoah, where a little bit undersized, a little bit of a tweener? Is he a big safety? Is he a small linebacker? But I mean, the skills are certainly there, and I think that Pappoe definitely popped up on a lot of teams' radar. So, I mean, there's a lot to like. I mean, again, we're only in day one of the draft, and you look at Pappoe, you look at Jack Campbell, you look at Nolan Smith, you look at Cancey, and you look at Adebawore. Nailed it. And, I mean, it's just fantastic. The Vikings, edge rusher could be a need, especially depending what happens with Daniil and Zadarius Smith. Off-ball linebacker, certainly a need, because they're probably parting ways with Kendricks and Hicks. As well as defensive interior, we need that quick interior pass rush. So, it's a good draft for it. That's right. Let's make some hay, man. But that's it. 5 day one combine freaks for the Minnesota Fighting Vikings. Let us know your thoughts or our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.